In the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness trailer, Doctor Strange finds Wanda Maximov caring for a grove of trees with lamb or sheep in the background in a beautiful and serene area. Wanda thinks that he's there to discuss the events of the Wandavision series, but instead Doctor Strange visits Wanda for help. Now, watching this trailer, there are a number of important looking moments and reveals, but in this video I'm going to tell you why this picturesque, soft, and inviting scene may actually be one of the most important in the trailer, because I think that symbolically there's something darker going on here, and if I'm right, then this scene hints at Wanda's true, darker purpose. Hey there, I'm Vocal Pineapple, and if this is your first time watching, I cover and explain anime and manga while presenting theories and predictions for what I think will happen next. And before you go searching, I normally don't cover Marvel movies or comics, but I have been enjoying them for quite a while, and when I got to thinking about this trailer specifically, something stood out to me that I just couldn't keep myself from talking about with all of you, and since that's how I started talking about anime and manga on YouTube, I felt it was very fitting for this, a Doctor Strange and Wanda theory, to be my very first step into that world on my channel, since of course, I find these to be some of the two most interesting characters in the whole MCU, and Multiverse of Madness is one of my most anticipated films in pretty much all of the MCU ever. But with all that out of the way and introductions aside, let's get to the video. So at the end of Wandavision on Disney+, spoilers if you haven't seen that by the way, also for probably a couple other Disney+ series, that by the way you probably should go and watch because Wandavision, What If, and Loki are probably three of my favorite series out of the Marvel Disney+ offerings. But at the end of her series, Wanda Maximoff lets go of Westview and its residents, defeating Agatha Harkness and letting her sons who were created through her magic fade back into nothing as she attempts to move on and move forward. But in the very last moments of her series, we saw that as Wanda studied the Darkhold, the powerful dark artifact, she heard the voice of one of her children calling out to her, and as she looks up and seems to react to the voice, we see a flash of red, likely signifying that Wanda has once again activated her chaos magic in some sort of pursuit for her children. Now, Wanda having an arc that involves her going after her children that shouldn't exist comes directly from the comics, but at the beginning of Doctor Strange 2, we find Wanda not tumbling through the multiverse or doing anything out of the ordinary. Instead, we see that she's working in a field of trees that surrounds the cabin that she was in at the end of WandaVision. Doctor Strange arrives, and it's at this point in the trailer that Doctor Strange asks Wanda what she knows about the multiverse, and she seems shocked, both probably because she's expecting him to ask about Westview and try to hold her accountable, but likely more so because he shouldn't know that she has the Darkhold and has been learning about the multiverse for the sake of her children. So in her mind, Doctor Strange could only be arriving here because either he does know, which isn't likely due to the way that he's acting, or this is some sort of coincidence, which we assume it is since the multiverse has been fracturing over the course of the last few MCU projects, and Strange naturally would reach out to other powerful magic users to try and get help. But that's all just to say that I could see how this situation and this coincidence would naturally get Wanda on guard. So returning to the scene as it plays out, Wanda is tending to the trees. But what is she doing specifically? Well, we see that Wanda is snipping ends off of the tree, trimming the trees to get them to how she likes them. But what is the actual context here? Why is this video titled the way it is? Well, I don't need to tell you that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is clearly a movie all about the multiverse, and Wanda somehow plays a big part in that. Well, here in this scene, the director Sam Raimi is being a little cheeky with his visual storytelling in my opinion, as Wanda is trimming the trees, which I believe is a direct parallel to how she'll be controlling and shaping the multiverse in this film. You see, the universe as we've seen in Marvel is like one straight line. The events of Loki and other Disney Plus series have shown us that the universe is destabilizing, creating new universes that all make up one big multiverse. In Loki, we see the sacred timeline and all the other universes diverging and converging at the end of Loki. The lines diverging from the main timeline all spread out in various directions, sometimes intersecting and getting in each other's way, and sometimes all going in a similar direction. But let's say you were to turn this sideways. What does it look like? In my opinion, it looks just like a tree. Now, this works perfectly because it helps you visualize the multiverse as one big tree with tons of branching timelines and possibilities that lead to entire new realities, and also it shows you how in universe and in canon, this is one way that the timelines can be represented, which isn't really new. Multiverses being kind of shown as trees is sort of a common thing. Now, at the end of WandaVision, like we said, it was hinted that somewhere out there in the multiverse, Wanda's children are out there. real and calling out to her to come and save them so they can be with their mother. Whether or not it's actually her children calling out to her or another entity like Mephisto trying to trick her is a whole other topic that we can try to get to the bottom of in another video, but with the nature of the multiverse, it isn't too far out of the box to assume that there is a reality where Billy and Tommy are real, which means Wanda's children are out there somewhere on another branch of this great tree that is the multiverse. Now, going back to the scene of the white trees on Wanda's property, how does that relate? Because what Wanda is doing is not just trimming the trees, but she's actually pruning the branches. Not familiar with that term? Well, pruning in horticultural terms refers to the act of removing unnecessary branches and sometimes even roots. In some cases, branches grow in the wrong direction, and pruning helps keep unwanted growth in check so you can control the overall shape and profile of a tree, and in some cases, even influence which direction new branches form in. In my opinion, as Wanda is doing with the trees by pruning certain branches that are quote-unquote unnecessary, I think she's doing the exact same thing to the multiverse. I believe that in search of her children, Wanda is actually destroying other branch timelines in the multiverse in an attempt to somehow reach her children and bring them to her. And I think this scene in the forest that she likely created at some point after that flash at the end of WandaVision is a direct hint towards that. Wanda is trying to control the multiverse by cutting off specific branches until she finds the perfect shape and path of the multiverse that she needs to have what she wants, which is either a direct path to a universe where her children exist or a way to bring them to the main MCU universe. Now the question is, if Wanda is wiping away realities that don't have her children in them, then what does that mean for the main MCU universe? We know that Wanda lost her children in this universe at the end of WandaVision, so could the main MCU universe really be another one on the chopping block towards her path of having a family if she feels like the inhabitants of the main timeline, namely Doctor Strange, are gonna keep her from having her way? Well, the Doctor Strange trailer sort of seems to suggest so, with us seeing the world fading away into darkness, much like it did at the end of What If Episode 4, and in the trailer, we see a figure that looks very much like Strange Supreme from that show, who many of you know is of course the much more evil-esque version of Doctor Strange. But is this all just to throw us off? Why include Strange Supreme at all, other than just for some excellent fan service for fans of the Disney Plus show? We know that America Chavez will be making her MCU debut in the movie, and we've already seen a few shots of her both alone and of Doctor Strange opening a door to a strange dimension. America at first seemed like a kind of odd inclusion in this movie, since I had trouble thinking of what she could possibly have to do with the plot, besides just being someone Strange might find by chance on his way through the multiverse. But with this theory of Wanda pruning branch realities, I have a new idea altogether. I think that the weird realm that we see behind the door is America's home universe, which has been destroyed by Wanda on the search for her children. I think America has been hopping between realities after her reality was destroyed by Wanda, and I think that is ultimately what's going to make it so that there's no hope for Strange to side off Wanda here in any way. Because regardless of her reasons, Strange is going to feel bad for the fact that Wanda destroyed America's reality in her own personal search for her own family. And with Wanda believing herself to be more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, a title that I do think Strange will re-earn in this movie, I don't think that she'll be bowing to him or letting him get in her way without a fight. After all, if it means getting what she wants, like the lambs or sheep in the background of this shot, or Wanda's willingness to prune those branches tells us, this Wanda is ready to make some sacrifices. So recapping as we bring this video to a close, I think Wanda is trying to find a way to either get to her children in another universe or bring them to her. To do so, she's searching through various universes, and for some reason that isn't clear to me, she's destroying them in the process. America Chavez has her universe destroyed, and Doctor Strange comes across her in some way while he tries to help figure out what happened to her reality, as Wanda, who he initially thought could help him restore the multiverse, actually makes the process much more difficult by going after what she wants and causing the events of the movie to unfold as they do, like Doctor Strange having to face himself from another universe. Could it possibly be that if Wanda is destroying other branch realities, she might have found the one holding Strange Supreme and actually destroyed that one, and maybe made a deal with him of some sorts to get him out of the situation that he was in when we last saw him at the end of What If Episode 4. After all, to some extent, we know that Christine Palmer is going to have an interesting role in this movie, and she's going to play some sort of part. So I imagine that if Wanda is to blame for all the multiversal hijinks that do go on in this movie, that her agreement with Strange will probably have something to do with allowing him to marry this universe's Christine Palmer, in exchange for Strange Supreme's help in stopping the main MCU Doctor Strange, while Wanda tries to do what she can to reach her children. So what do you think? Is that really Strange Supreme? Did Wanda destroy America Chavez's universe? And do you think her trimming and pruning the branches in these trees is a hint to us by Sam Raimi that she'll be trimming and pruning other branch timelines in this movie in a pursuit to save Tommy and Billy from the reality that they're in, which I honestly do think is the Fox X-Men timeline, since the trailer does give us multiple versions of the Marvel logo passing by, and I believe they incorporated the one from the X-Men movies here. So everything is out of the window. Who knows what's gonna happen in this movie? But that's my theory based on the first trailer. I bet by the second trailer I'll be singing an entirely different tune, but if you enjoy this video or where I'm going with this idea, I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel, of course, since only about 40% of the people who watch my videos are. If you subscribe, we'd be able to hit about 300,000 subscribers by the end of next year, which is my goal, so I hope we can hit it together, and let me know if you want to see more Marvel-inspired content on this channel, or just superhero and comic content in general, since obviously we're moving into a new year, and that's kind of always a good time to try new things, so let me know. This is Vocal Pineapple. I'll see you all again soon. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and stay safe, everyone. I love you. Peace.